Hi guys, it is time for another BookTube video. Sorry this one's a little late. I honestly forgot this weekend and remembered late Sunday night, and then of course yesterday Fairy Loot came, so I'm doing it today. Um, just want to say this before I get started. Remember, if you have any questions for me, you can always leave a comment and ask me, and I will try to answer it in the next video as long as it's appropriate, of course. Alright, so this week I have 4 books I read to share with you, one of which I'll give a more in-depth review on. Currently I'm reading State of Sorrow, and if you haven't realized, I've been trying to catch up on all the past Fairy Loot books I've gotten, and I'm almost done. State of Sorrow is the last one, and I'm not counting the one I just got yesterday because I'll read that next, so it doesn't even matter. Alright, so I read the Furyborn arc that we got by Clara LeGrand. This book was really good. I think it just came out today. So you guys should definitely go out and buy it. It was pretty amazing. Like, I was seriously hooked from the beginning. I'm probably the only one who feels this way. I love this cover, the fake cover, more than I love the actual cover. But I will still eventually buy the actual book. I might be waiting until BookCon, because I know she's going to be there, so I would have a chance to at least get a signed copy, which would be pretty amazing. So, buy it. It's really good. And then I read The Last Nymphsera. I don't know how you quite say that. This one was good. My one problem, okay, I have 2 problems with it. My first problem is the fact that the basis is their dragon hunters. I have issues with that, as proven by the first story I ever wrote when I was in high school, in which I killed off my whole race of dragon hunters that I had. Yes, I did. I killed them all. There are no more dragon hunters. They're all dead. So of course there's that. And then my second issue was the romance of the story. I wasn't quite sure why the main character fell for the guy, because there was this whole cultural thing with it, and so I wasn't quite sure what made her change enough to fall for him, you know? It was, like, I could understand why he liked her, but not really why she liked him. It was weird to me. But beyond that, it was a really good story. If you don't mind dragon hunters, and I'm probably the only one who has that issue with the romance, so hey, you guys should read this book too. Not sharing the third one I read yet, because that's the one I'll talk about. So I just yesterday finished Daughter of the Burning City. I really liked this book. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. It was just really enjoyable, and she has a couple of twists at the end, one of which, like, once they brought up the thing, I was like, oh, it's going to be this person, and I was right. But the other twist was kind of a surprise to me, which is always nice, because I'm pretty good at predicting things in books. So anytime an author can surprise me, it makes me really happy, because I'm not expecting this. This is, oh my god, what is this? So this was a really enjoyable book, and I was very happy to read it, because before I go on to the book I'm talking about, I tried to read Given to the Sea, which was a Fairy Loot book last year, and guys, I could not do it. I got to page 20 and I stopped, and there were a couple of reasons why I stopped. My first issue with Given to the Sea is there are 4 narrative perspectives, which is not a problem. I like multiple narrators. We have Sister Crows. My problem with the narrator's perspective is narrator 1 and 2 are both written in first person. Narrators 3 and 4 are both written in third person, which is very jarring in a book for me, to go from reading I to reading he, she. And it's like, no. They need to all be in first person, or they all need to be in third person. With that many narrative perspectives, you probably want to do all third person, just so you don't get confused on which I you're talking about. So that was annoying. And then my other issue with it was, again, I stopped on page 20. On page 20, I was already on chapter 6. I have an issue with small chapters like that, and the reason I do is because in this case, each chapter was one of the narrator perspectives. So chapters 1 through 4 were all 4. Chapter 5 was narrator 1 again, and chapter 6 would have been narrator 2 again. Well, again, page 20, chapter 6, so that means each chapter is about 3 to 4 pages long. So I know nothing about these narrators by this point. I don't know why I care about them. I don't know what their deal really is. And so for me, it's like, I don't feel like investing my time when you already have me on chapter 6, even though it's only page 20, and I know nothing about any of these people, nor do I care about them. So I had to stop. I could not do it. And I kind of knew I would feel like that with Given to the Sea, because reading the synopsis just tired me out, because the synopsis was this narrator, and then this narrator, and then this narrator, and it's like, wait, what? I'm tired. I'm already bored with this. Like, oh my god. So yeah, Given to the Sea has already gone on my to give away shelf, which someday I will be doing probably a big giveaway on my Instagram of all the books I don't want, and it's not, again, I don't like them, but it doesn't mean someone else won't like them, you know? So I'm all, and if no one wants them, then I'll donate them to the library or something. Alright, so on to the book we're talking about, which was the fairy book last month, Beyond A Darkened Shore. Okay, so this book was so good. If you like Norse and Celtic and all, like if you like the show Vikings, you'll like this book. If you like Celtic stuff, you'll like this book. You know, it was so good. I was very happy with it. So I'm going to say right now, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce the names and the characters. I'm going to say Ciara and Leaf. So this might get a little spoilery, so you might want to stop. Just keep in mind, really good book. You should read it if you haven't. It came out probably March or April. So good. Read the book. Okay, so in the book, Ciara is the princess of one of the kingdoms of what is essentially Ireland. And her, because this is like set when, you know, the countries are all divided into little kingdoms, and you have the Northmen, or you know, Vikings, who come raiding into the kingdoms and taking stuff and, you know, blah. So she is actually a warrior in her kingdom, and the reason for that is because she has a magical ability in which when she makes eye contact with someone, she can control them. So her father's gone off to try to protect one of the monasteries of his kingdom, because even though this is kind of set back in the olden days with the Norse gods and Celtic gods, Christianity has already come to the kingdom, and they are now a Christian kingdom. They are no longer pagan. So her kingdom gets invaded by a Norse clan while her father's gone, so she leads her few clansmen down to fight them. And among them is a young boy who she decides to spare, because she's like, hey, you're a boy, you should not even be here. And so because of that, the leader of the Norsemen doesn't fight her as strongly as he would normally, because it turns out that little boy was his younger brother, so he's kind of like, oh, hey, you spared my brother. So she takes him captive. Well, it turns out they need to form an alliance. There's one of the Celtic gods, the Morgan, who basically comes to visions to both of them and is like, hey, you guys need to, or no, not to both of them, sorry, it's just to Ciara. Leaf has to deal with the Valkyries. And the Morgan is basically like, hey, you need to work with this dude in order to save your country, because there's, I can't remember what they're called. They're basically like giants. In Norse mythology, they are the giants that the gods are descended and related to. I believe. And they have come raiding from the land of gods. I don't believe it's Asgard. I believe it's something other than Asgard. So they have come to Earth and they are raiding, and they are going to kill everything and everyone. So Leaf escapes her captivity and she chases after him, and they agree to be allies because they both realize that, hey, you're the person I need to team up with in order to defeat these giants. So they go through adventures, fall in love, of course, because that happens in all the stories. They all fall in love. Ciara finds out that Leaf's deal with the Valkyries entitles him, basically godly strength. But the deal is at the end of his, quest, he has to die. So I'm not really going to say anything more beyond that. It was just a really good book. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Beyond A Darkened Shore. Yeah, it was great. I loved it. So that is my BookTube this week. My next one won't be until after I get back from BookCon, because BookCon, of course, would be when I normally make the video, and I won't be here to do it. But hey, I'm sure you guys are okay with that, because you'll probably want to hear about BookCon, I hope. So remember, ask me any questions you want to ask. I'm here. Thanks so much, guys. Bye!